Good afternoon. I am Bernstein, the Mayor of Allendale. Thank you for joining me for my weekly address on the COVID-19 pandemic and to bring you important updates from the state and the county. Not too much has changed during this past week. Overall, though, our numbers have continued to decrease for Bergen County, which is great news. As of today, Allendale's number of COVID cases stands at 58. I know that I say it every week, but we are one of the lowest impacted municipalities in Bergen County, and we should all be proud of that. For those interested in being tested for the virus or the antibodies, there are still 3 testing centers operating in our area. However, there have been some changes in terms of eligibility. At the Bergen Community College testing site in Paramus, asymptomatic patients can now be tested in addition to symptomatic patients. For the testing sites at Rite Aid in Waldwick and Bergen Newbridge Testing Center, a pre-screening appointment must be made prior to testing, and the testing is limited to those that are symptomatic. There's a concern that people in need of medical attention may not be going to the hospital for fear of the coronavirus. The New Jersey Department of Health wants to remind everyone that if you require emergency medical attention or medical treatment for non-COVID related ailments, please do not avoid help. Hospitals and healthcare teams continue to care for all patients in a safe environment. More information on this point is below the video. Governor Murphy has extended the executive order restricting gatherings for another 30 days, effective through June 5th. The governor has also announced that schools will remain closed for the rest of the school year. Here in Allendale, all fields remain completely closed. Additionally, the celery farm also remains closed. Crestwood Park is open, but only for passive recreation, such as running, walking, and biking. No decision has been made yet about Crestwood Lake at this point, but preparations are moving ahead with the hopes of opening. If you have been to Crestwood, you know that the lake is partially filled. Under no circumstances is anyone allowed in the water at any time. This has nothing to do with coronavirus and is no different than any other year before the swim season. There are no lifeguards on duty, and it's a safety issue, not to mention that the water has not been treated yet. Earlier this week, the holiday observers made the very difficult decision to postpone their 4th of July celebration until September. After much consideration, discussion, and deliberation, it was concluded that there was just no way to ensure proper social distancing and therefore the safety of residents during either the field events or the fireworks show. The holiday observers will provide updates on their website and Facebook page as to their new plans, and the borough will provide as much support as we can, including communicating their plans to our residents. One thing that residents have been asking for is access to the Compost Center. We are aware that residents have been spending considerable time working on the yards and have accumulated debris, which must be disposed of. Over the past few weeks, we've had many discussions about how to open up the Compost Center without jeopardizing the health of our residents or our employees. A huge thank you to DPW Director Ron Kistner for coming up with the plans to open the Compost Center, which began last week at the DPW facility and is now occurring at the Compost Center on West Crescent Avenue for permit holders only. While the recycling center remains closed, all compost permit holders may bring their compost to the West Crescent Avenue facility for disposal when it's open. Currently, it's open Thursdays and Fridays from 9 to 2:30. It's also open on Saturday from 9 to 3. Those wishing to get a permit may do so on the borough website. On the left-hand tab on the borough webpage labeled Compost Permits. Permits can be picked up at Borough Hall. Once you have submitted your application, someone from Borough Hall will contact you when your permit is available. If you have any questions about the application or navigating through the website, please call Borough Hall. Chief Sherb of the Allendale Police Department has asked that everyone be aware of the grandparent scam, which targets seniors and has been widespread lately due to the pandemic. The scam starts with a phone call from someone claiming to be the victim's grandchild. The caller will claim to be under arrest or injured and needs money for bail or medical treatment. The caller will then request a large amount of cash and will most often pick the money up at the victim's home. The caller may also request payment via mail or wire transfer. In one recent incident, a taxi was sent to pick up the victim and drive him to a bank to make a large cash withdrawal. If you receive one of these suspicious phone calls or have fallen victim to the grandparent scam, please immediately call the Allendale Police Department at 201-825-1900. There are a few days left to pay your second quarter taxes without penalty. Again, they can be paid online, through your bank, through the mail, and can be hand-delivered at the Borough Hall's drop box. I always enjoy bringing you some good news, but this week I have extremely good news. It's been reported that Sylvia Godshall, resident at the Allendale Community for Senior Living, has recovered from COVID-19. While this is great to hear in general, this is particularly special because Sylvia is 108 years old. Sylvia is quoted as saying, "I was determined to survive," which she did. We send her our most sincere well wishes and send our thanks to the entire staff at the community. And that brings us to this week's joke or jokes. I received several entries this week. My apologies if your joke was not selected. I will try to get to it in a later video. This one is from John. What are 2 things you can't eat for breakfast? Lunch and dinner. Thank you, John. And this one from Parker and Reagan, students at Brookside School. What do you call a pig that does karate? A pork chop. Thank you, girls. Please keep them coming. And thank you to everyone. Have a nice weekend and a very happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers in Allendale. Thank you.